Live from LA here on a Friday afternoon. For some of you, maybe early evening, we are doing a breaking box office show because we have a massive story. Of course, I'm going to be having a massive story if I'm going to do a live stream at 3:10 in the afternoon here on a Friday. Yes, the Marvels is bombing. We've talked about this for weeks. We've been saying this was going to happen since 6 months ago. I mean, go back and watch the streams. We knew this was going to happen. I can't believe that the number here is projected at 47 to 55 million. That said, we had it at 52 on Thursday night, 52 million. So it's right in that range, and that will be under The Flash. In fact, this will be the lowest ever MCU film by a film guided by Kevin Feige. Go back to, like, as Deadline says here, Howard the Duck. Well, of course, we're not including that. That's from 1986. Had nothing to do with the current MCU. We're talking about films going back to the Universal release, The Incredible Hulk in 2008, 55.4 million. And that's, not adjusted for inflation. That's quite a bit more. 2008 money is versus 2023. You kidding me? Ant-Man, the original Ant-Man, which is true MCU, right? That is 2015, 57.2. So this is going to be under those, under The Flash. This is a disaster for the MCU, disaster for Marvel Studios. Listen, we talked about shelving this film. I've said it multiple times. I said we should consider Batgirling this. Everyone got all over Warner Brothers for saying, oh, let's get rid of Batgirl. Let's just put it away, lock it in a vault. No one will ever see it because we're afraid of what the damage is going to do to the brand. Well, guess what's happening here today, this weekend? This film is doing tremendous damage to the MCU. And isn't it interesting that they're now talking about Loki? Because I guess Loki's good. I'm not going to watch Loki. You guys know I don't watch the series. But it's funny how all of a sudden everyone's like, let's just pivot this to and not, the Marvels doesn't exist. Well, unfortunately, it does exist, and it's doing irreparable damage to the brand. And this is a repudiation of Marvel right now. And I think also the direction, right? Let's just lay it out. Let's be honest. You guys know I'm not an anti-woke guy, but let's talk about it. This is 3 female superheroes in a film with very little male characters whatsoever, which is fine. It's all good. Listen, you guys know I have no problem watching whatever you want to show me, but I'm talking about the marketplace here. Clearly, a lot of people don't want to see that. Not right now, not in the year 2023. And we talked about Brie Larson. She's not likable, even though I think she's better here than she's been in any of the films, but she still just isn't the kind of personality that people are going to run out to see in a movie. You've got the Miss Marvel. She's strong, she's young, she's all those things, but she's not going to open a film. And, it's just not working. And we knew it wasn't going to work, but this is even worse than I think Marvel had feared. Do you remember those articles from a few weeks ago that were like, oh, by the way, this is going to be a $75 million debut? And I was like, that is bullshit. I called it on the stream. Go back and watch. Here it is. Here's the article. Look at this. The Marvel's tracking for a $75 to $80 million opening. And I said, bullshit. Go back and check my tweets. Check it. I have the receipts. This film was never getting near there. They just wanted to pretend, hey, let's try to fool everyone and say that, people are interested in this film. We knew it was dead. I said it for weeks, for months. This film is DOA. I'm right again. MMT, give me a like, because I nail these things over and over and over. That's the absolute pattern of this channel, is calling this shit 6 months ago, telling them to dump this in January. Could it have gone worse in January? No, it probably would have done better. This is the worst timing for this film, and a film no one wanted to watch. And, oh, by the way, the film's not good. The film is interesting for the first 30 minutes, and then it turns into fan fiction written by a 15-year-old. It's bad. And the film isn't any fun beyond that first, 25, 30 minutes. And that's not enough for an hour and 45-minute movie. But we need to really discuss here. It's going to be a tight stream, but listen, don't try to spin this. Audiences are saying, we don't want to see this shit. That's what's happening right now. They are saying, we are not interested in the MCU, certainly with this film. Okay? And it is 3 female leads. That's fact. That is effing fact. I'm not doing this shit. We're like, oh, you're attacking a movie because it's got 3 female leads. You shut up. Do me a favor, shut up, because that's not what we're doing, but we're telling facts. I'm not going to live in a world where I'm told that we can't talk about that crap. I'm going to talk about it, and the fact is that viewers don't want to see a movie like this. That is very clear. The message is sent, and Kevin Feige is in a world of pain this weekend. Kevin Feige, we tried to tell you to Batgirl this film, to move it out of here. You don't listen. If people listen to what gets said here on this show, they would save millions of dollars. I told you about Indiana Jones, the Dial of Disaster. As soon as I saw that cut, I'd be like, this movie, we're going to shelve it. It's not going to come out. I don't know what we're going to do. Even the script, I said, we're not making this film. Who are these people in Hollywood that are making these decisions? They're terrible at their jobs. We have too many people. I've said it. I'm doing it again. Damn it, on a Friday afternoon. I just wanted to chill out. We have too many people in Hollywood in positions that suck ass at what they do. They are terrible at what they do. And because of that, we end up with movies like The Marvels, with Indiana Jones, The Dial Disaster. We end up with this crap. And where are both those films from? Disney. Disney, you need to revamp everything. You need to start firing people. You're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. All of you are out. We are going to revamp everything. Feige, you need to start hiring talented people. If you're checking boxes, stop doing that. Stop checking boxes. We are hiring the best person. End of story. The world needs to return to that way. That's the way the world works best. We do not hire people based on what their ethnicity is. And I hope you don't watch this stream based on the ethnicity of the guy who's hosting it. It doesn't matter. Means nothing. Tired of this shit. Comments. Are you surprised? Quick stream here. Come in. Give me the comment. Let's go. Batgirl, The Marvels. I told you to do this. Time for a hard reset. No question. Do you think Brie Larson's attractive? That's another story. But thank you for putting a smile on my face. I appreciate that. Marvel turned the NBA into, oh my God, this is a great comment. Marvel turned the NBA into the WNBA. And regardless of what you think about women's sports, we all know that they don't draw the same as men's sports. Go to a WNBA game. There's empty seats everywhere. They can't even give the tickets away. Go to a Lakers game. Good luck. You're going to pay a fortune to sit anywhere in those first 20, 30 hell up at the top. There's a reason. Why? It's not that men are better than women. It's just the truth is most people want to watch dudes play basketball, not women. That doesn't make me anti-woke by saying that. I'm spitting facts. That's the reality of it. Don't try to spin shit around here. It doesn't ever fly. You're 100% right. This is a great comment, and it's a reality of the situation. Okay? It doesn't mean movies with women are bad. You hate women, Weber. No, I don't. I'm telling you that the audience doesn't want to see it. Rotten Tomatoes is editing reviews and getting rid of bad ones. Is that interesting, Bob? Bob Dole in the house. He's resurrected. Let's find out. Let's go to Rotten Tomatoes. And by the way, I did pull this up before we go to Rotten Tomatoes. Look at this. This is the Wonder Woman numbers from back in 2017, because I know someone out there shouting. I already have you ready. I know what you're saying, so I'm going to go ahead and discuss this. Wonder Woman opened with $103 million back in 2017. The world's a different place now, a markedly different place than back then. Superhero movies were still hot back in 2017. We hadn't got to Avengers, Endgame, certainly Infinity War. We hadn't gotten any of that. So people are still stoked to see this stuff. People are burnt out on CBMs, and especially a film that's goofy like The Marvels, female leads. That's part of it, okay? Is that the only reason? I don't know. When you look at the demographics, I can tell you this. And someone actually sent me a tweet saying that the reports are, the early demos are, it's mostly dudes. When I went to my screening last night at 3:30 in the afternoon in Burbank, I would say the males outweighed I think it was probably 90% guys. Single dudes. I went by myself, other guys. There's all these single dudes, older white guys, all over the place. So don't tell me that it's not the people who aren't coming are the women. The ones who went to Barbie don't want to see this, right? That's a problem. I think they thought that. I think Marvel might have thought, hey, listen, Barbie did well with that demographic, but people don't want to watch Marvels. They want to watch something different. They're done with comic book movies. It's a bunch of things going on at once. It's not just about the women. It's about comic book movies. It's about the release. Just put this into next year because people are burnt out on CBMs. But Kevin Feige, he really needs to consider letting someone else come in and tell him some things, because there's some really bad decisions being made down there in Manhattan Beach. And the problem is once you become this big, powerful entity like Kevin Feige is, and he's probably arguably the most powerful person in Hollywood, the problem is you have a hard time, I think, listening to other people. And that's not a good position because clearly right now, especially when you're failing the way that Marvel is failing, you've got to start listening to people. You cannot do it the way you want to do it. You got to listen to somebody else. And the person who is talking better be worthy of talking. Right? In other words, they're the most talented person. They've proven to you that they know what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, I'm available. Give me a call. I could have saved you. I'd go back. Guys, I have 1 billion receipts. Go back and look at any video talking about the Marvels. I said they should backgirl this film, and look what's happening. It's going to do irreparable damage to the brand this weekend with an opening possibly under 50 million. Are you kidding me? So that's that range. Listen, and back to the Deadline article. When they give you that range of 47 to 55, that's dead on. Because here's the thing. It's never happened. Deadline's very good with their box office sources. As such, whenever you look at a number that they project, it's going to be in that range. It's not going to all of a sudden this thing's going to open at 75. Okay, 55 is the best case scenario. 47 is the worst case, so we're looking at about 49, 50, 51, somewhere in there. Split the middle. I said 52, so this is going to make us really good. This is going to make us another ring him up. He's right again. Weber got it. I had it at 52. But listen, I mean, look at this. There have been some, it talks about other openings. Morbius, again, not part of the MCU. We all know that film was, I still think Morbius was more interesting than the Marvels. 39 million. And then Fantastic Four, 25. But again, that was Fox. That was outside, right? It was 2015. Comic movies weren't really, they were coming on, right? They were still, it certainly was growing, but it wasn't like the 2017, 18, 19, right in that range. That's why Wonder Woman popped that 100 million, right? Man of Steel, a little, obviously before that, but when you start looking at that, that's the evolution. You start to see, and of course that's Superman, so of course you're going to see that. Batman's going to do that number, and of course Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is the biggest female superhero, right? The most popular, bigger than Captain Marvel. So, of course, Elektra, that was forever ago. My God, 12.8 million. But again, that's a long time ago. That money today is bigger. Friday is about 21 to 22 million, including previews. So typically what you end up with is about a 2.5. So if that's a 2.5 or at 50, because if you take it at 20, okay, so here's the deal. You take the Friday number, let's take 21. You do a 2.5, that is 42, split it at 11, that's 53. So 52, we are dead on. We're going to be dead on. We are going to nail the number again. We've nailed so many. Been off a few times. But nail. Not like nail. 52. That's what it's looking like. So this is bad. This is really bad for Marvel. And again, the woke gaslighting, pretending it's a great movie. It is embarrassing when people are so afraid to say a movie's bad because they're going to take heat for the fact that you're attacking a female-led movie. I have never, in the history of any film evaluation or anything that we're discussing on this channel, ever given bonus points for female lead, female director, minority lead. No, why? Why? Don't do that shit. Stop doing it. Hell, listen, I know I'm a white dude, but if I were a minority, I wouldn't want someone telling me, hey, you got the job because you're a minority. We watch your channel because you are not a white guy. Well, doesn't that make you feel like shit? Who wants that? Do you want that? Do you want someone saying, oh, by the way, we like you because you check a box? Who wants that? That's truly pathetic. Truly pathetic. And the society needs to get away from that. Stop doing it. The thing is, we have to stand up and tell them, stop doing this shit and don't play the game. And I'm not, trust me when I say that, hold on for a second. Let's go back. I promise you guys will look at Rotten Tomatoes, see a bunch of you asking about that. Let's go and look what the number is. Okay, so here we go. This is at 62%, and it was at 50-something, correct? That's a very interesting case that you're laying out here, and I'll tell you what. Here's the situation. I've told you so many times, and I didn't expect the stream to go on like this, but it's a great time to discuss all kinds of things. There are a significant number of Rotten Tomato approved critics who are essentially in the back pocket of some of these studios. Okay, you look at a Mama's Geeky. You look at a Brandon Davis. You look at an Eric Davis. They are going to submit a positive review on a studio film 99% of the time, i.e. they're in the pocket of the studio. And we need to put an end to shill culture. And the way you do that is by attacking these people when they post relentless positivity 24/7. People came after me when I said that Poor Things is an abomination. It's such a bad film, not from a filmmaking perspective, not from a production design, cinematography, but from a screenplay perspective, it's completely and utterly inaccessible to any human being who's remotely near a baseline of even quasi-normal. And I took a lot of heat. Oh my God, you didn't like Poor Things because that's what we do now, right? Oh, it's this famous auteur director, so we can't say the film's bad. That's weak. You guys are pathetic if you do that. Don't do that. If The Marvels is bad, it's bad. It doesn't matter if there's 3 women in the lead. It doesn't matter if it's directed by a woman. It doesn't matter. The movie sucks, period, right? That's it. That's all we do. We're never going to say it's better or worse based on anything other than the film. This isn't hard. But there's a lot of people who can't play that game because they've been trained to be little bitches when it comes to stuff like that. Oh, well, we should probably say the movie's great because it's directed by a woman. Why? I say a movie's great because it's great. Saint Maud, directed by a woman, fantastic. After Sun, brilliant film. Billions of, I'm just picking the 2 of my favorites from the past few years, directed by a woman. But guess what? Never valued, never factored in the evaluation. 0%. Zero. Because the film speaks for itself. I don't need to know that a woman directed it. I don't care. It's the film. Period. Stop doing this shit. If that makes me anti-woke, so be it. I don't care. But I'm not going to say a film's terrible because it's woke. I'm going to say the film's terrible because it's terrible. That's it. Period. I honestly believe the average moviegoer doesn't want to watch women fight or get punched. This goes back to, interestingly enough, a film that I hated from this year, Bottoms. The reason I hate Bottoms is it's got violence against women. You have a woman on the floor of the gym as the bully comes up and drop kicks her right in the face. This is not humor. This is not funny. Bottoms is repulsive. I hate that film. And that's one of the reasons, because it is that. And that's the thing, right? Pieces of 8, you see that. But yet, oh, you know why Bottoms is so great? Because it has a pair of lesbian leads. Who cares? The movie sucks. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm never going to do it. Don't do that. If you do that, this is film Twitter. That's why I don't want any part of film Twitter ever for the recorded remainder of history. I don't want any part of that loser group of virtue signaling dorks. I'm done with them. I didn't think the stream would get so aggressive, but it did. Oh, I just can't stop because it needs to be said, doesn't it? I haven't cared about the MCU since No Way Home, and I'm telling you, I don't really care either. I did, you know what's interesting? I go back and I look at Eternals. I like Eternals, at least the attempt by Chloe. I think it's also very important that we mention this. When Chloe Zhao took Eternals, when Nia DaCosta took The Marvels, when name director took whatever Marvel film and was given, the reins. They're not really given the reins. Okay, at the end of the day, Feige's going to say this is what we're going to do. You guys heard the reports. Nia DaCosta was basically off the film at the end of it because she had moved on to something else. Well, that's convenient, right? Sam Raimi, my sources tell me, removed from Doctor Strange because at the end of the day, that final cut, you're going to have the director saying, this is what I want to do. And Feige's like, nah, it's a little too much. Let's cut back. Can you imagine? Let's just say this. Here, this is going to be brilliant. Get ready. Can you imagine Kevin Feige watching the first cut of Joker? He would go to Todd Phillips and go, we can't do this. We can't. We have to soften this. Can we just have the Joker at the end where he punches De Niro? Do we have to have him blow his brains out? It's a little much. First of all, he never okayed the script, but we're just saying after we get to the cut, the director's like, here's my vision. And then he's like, nah, I can't. That's the problem with working with Feige. He's going to control your shit. Why do you think I do my own thing? I don't want to answer to anybody. That's why I do MMT. I don't have to answer to anybody. If I have to work for a trade, could I send that tweet I sent the other day about Poor Things? Oh my God, they'd fire me the next day. That's why I don't have to worry about it. What's the retaliation? Oh, you don't invite me. I'm so sad. I'll just see it at the Burbank 16 down the street when it opens. I don't care. Hollywood, you can't control me, and I love it. And you know it. And also people know that I know what I'm talking about. So that's a bad combination for you. Really terrible combination for you. Publicity, well, that was pretty awful. They should fire everyone who laid hands on this movie, including Feige. Feige should definitely be on thin ice. No question. I mean, it's time. It's time to really question what's been going on because look at what's happened. It's going further and further and further down. And it's the numbers just keep dropping every film. Collider on Twitter literally posted Marvel's Phase 4 is better than fans will have you think. Talk about shilling. Collider is an embarrassment of publication. And you look at a Frosty, you talk about a shill. There's another shill. You've got Frosty, Mama's Geeky. You've got Brandon Davis. You've got Eric Davis. These are 4 major shills. These are people that are actively destroying film criticism because they're not critics. They are shills. And because of such, we are now stuck with things like the Marvels at 61% versus 50 whatever percent it was the other day, because they will insert their reviews up to push that tomato meter up. There's a lot of critics who are very happy to get notoriety from a studio, an email from a studio. Can we use your quote that says this is the best MCU film ever? Oh, yes, you can. And then they take a screenshot of their TV at home. Look, there's my quote, like our boy Brandon Weak-Ass Davis. Look at me, the creator, the best film of the year, even though I've only watched about 10 films. And the creator still wouldn't be the best film if you only watch 10 films. I've watched 100 theatrical films this year. If I say the best film of the year, and for me right now, it would probably be The Holdovers. Go support that this weekend. Then you know I'm not bullshitting. I have some background. I know what I'm doing. And people like Brandon Davis are ruining it. And he also has roughly 1,000 times the audience. That's the sad part, too, about the world. We have people in positions that don't deserve, again, going back to it here in Hollywood. People who do not deserve to be in the positions they are there, and they are actively ruining everything because they are virtue signaling, they are shills, they are wannabes, and they are, incredibly desperate human beings. And I don't care for any of that stuff. I mean, do you think that, again, I would go through that whole Poor Things thing and everyone, oh, you're terrible for taking a picture during the credits. You're such a terrible person for doing that. Oh, my God. The movie's over. It's the credits. You're a loser, Strange Harbors. That dude is the biggest dweeb. I'm doing it again. I'm going to attack him again because he's the perfect example we're talking about with the film Twitter dorks. They all say what they're supposed to say. No, Rolex, you can't say that. You can't say Yorgos Lanthimos is a bona fide hack. You can't say that because film Twitter worships at the altar of Yorgos Lanthimos. And God forbid you say the movie is unwatchable to virtually anybody who's not weird as hell with kinky shit. In fact, the people who like Poor Things, I question what they do in their off time, because it's not a movie that's going to resonate with anyone who has even a semi-normal view of the world. It's just gross. I really hate Poor Things. I hate that movie. It's so terrible. And I'll continue to say that forever. I'm never going to change, but film Twitter won't. Anatomy of a Fall, 100%, completely agree. It is. Film Twitter is the island of misfit toys. You know what? Listen, Bob, if I make that T-shirt, that's my money. I said it. I quoted it last night, and you know it, Bob, that it's an island of misfit dweebs. Let's just call it that. Let's call it the island of misfit dweebs. And I will make a shirt and I'll wear it into the screenings, and then none of them will say, because they're all little squishy guys. Hey, squishy guy. I tried to watch The Lobster and fell asleep. Well, listen, listen. If you thought The Lobster was boring, you wait till you watch Poor Things. Okay. Back to the top story, and then I'm going to roll out of here. This is absolutely disastrous. And we talked about this last night. Go watch the stream from last night. I mean, I'm here again on a Friday afternoon because we said RIP MCU, and it looks like that's what we have this weekend with a film that's going to open about $50 million under The Flash. This is a bomb. This is going to be a toxic situation, a catastrophic situation for Marvel Studios. And there's no other way to spin it. We tried to tell them to consider Batgirling the Marvels, and instead they released it, and now it is going to do tremendous catastrophic damage to the brand. And that's what we do. We're trying to help you out, Hollywood. If you just listen, we're going to save you tens, hundreds of millions of dollars if you bother, if you put your ego aside and realize there are people out there smarter than you, and one of them's on the microphone right now on a Friday afternoon at 3:35. That's going to do it. Live from LA. The Marvels is dead. We called it months ago, and look what happened. This weekend, it's over.